we do, those popular ideas have a much better chance of becoming a law. Republicans are like substitute teachers who threaten to punish their class by putting on a movie instead of continuing with the lesson plan. Look, if you guys don't want to learn fractals, then I'll have no choice but to make you watch Amadeus on Laserdisc. And looking at the back here, it says there's adult language and brief nudity. Okay, I'm not seeing a lot of hands for fractals. Of course, it won't shock you to learn that Republicans don't actually have any convincing principled arguments against D.C. statehood because there aren't any. They act like there have been exactly 50 states in the Union since 1776, which obviously isn't the case. In fact, rural states have done the same thing throughout history to grow their own political power. In 1889 and 1890, Congress added North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Washington, Idaho, and Wyoming, the largest admissions of states since the original 13. The addition of 12 new senators and 18 new electors to the Electoral College was a deliberate strategy of late 19th century Republicans to stay in power after their swing toward big business cost them a popular majority. The strategy paid dividends deep into the future. Indeed, the admission of so many rural states back then helps to explain GOP control of the Senate today, 130 years later. Exactly. You think the framers envisioned not one, but two Dakotas when they wrote the Constitution? Those dorks barely knew where the Dakotas were. Back then, they just rode one horse until it died and then hitchhiked onto another one. And that only got you to West Boston. And back then, West Boston was not a neighborhood you wanted to get lost in. Bro, you lost? I'm not lost. I'm Benjamin Franklin, and I was born here. I don't know you, bro. You live here now? No, I moved to Philadelphia. Oh, you moved to Philly. All right, bro. I'm going to need your waistcoat and your knee breeches. I invented electricity. Well, I invented, I don't... Yeah!
I like his tangents. I think they're good.
Where were we? Oh, right, present day. In fact, Republicans have so few legitimate arguments that last month during a hearing on the D.C. statehood bill, Congressman Jody Hice, who incidentally is the Trump-backed candidate for Secretary of State in Georgia, running on the big lie that the state was stolen from Trump, made this absolutely ludicrous argument.
Under this bill, D.C. would in fact become the first among states, which is exactly what our founders sought to avoid. D.C. would be the only state without an airport, without a car dealership, without a capital city, without a landfill, without even a name on its own, and we could go on and on and on.
It's hard to know where to even begin with that. A full list of fact checks would be at least 14 pages long. We can't do that because then it would take Marjorie Taylor Greene an entire day to read it. First of all, there are car dealerships in D.C. You don't need to be like a geography genius to know that little tidbit. Just look for one of those goofy tube men flapping his arms on the side of the road. Of course, if this moron ever saw one of those guys, he'd probably think it was a distressed motorist. You need a ride, man? Hop in the back. I'm listening to this new recording of Glory Days. All right.
Well, his best bit on the DC was at the beginning, showing that guy talk about the socialist utopia.